And as we breathe each unholy sacred in-breath and out-breath, we remember that we breathe the breath of Brahma, the breath of the divine. It is the breath of all creations. From the macrocosm to the micro, all integrated as one divine in-breath and out-breath. And so we come into our awareness and into our consciousness of the deeper meaning of the sacred in-breath and out-breath, not only to nourish the livingness of our physical body, but it is the spiritual in-breath and out-breath, the source of all creation. It is the transcendent breath of which we are a part of, in all of its gradations and all of its emanations. And so we always remember how sacred the breath is. And as we move forward now in this moment, we acknowledge the gift of our breath, and we breathe consciously and engaged as we choose here to align with the highest parts of ourselves, to make that connection with the upper worlds, to make that connection with the saints that surround us, the most radiant ones, all those in higher service to this divine breath of the Supreme One, of the design creation of all, as the source. And as we breathe and we remember and align ourselves into the sacredness of the breath, there is the flowing in of the Azi Shalom and the Shalom Shalom, a peace transcendent to this earth. And we simply allow this peace to come in, to balance us, to anchor an unshakable peace beyond all human understanding, as with each and every breath aligns us with the cosmic breath, the highest breath, the breath of source, the breath of all creations. And as we walk our spiritual path, as we are committed to that, as we move forward nonetheless and strive, even in those times that we falter, we yet carry on. And in this opens up the higher gateways, the higher pathways, activating the neurotransmitters in our own brains, bringing into a higher level of alertness the very cells in our body, bringing in an activation of the crystalline matrix within our own blood, as we become holistically enlivened, connected, and aligned with our higher selves. We begin now to feel this connection in whichever sensation it comes to you in your physical, mental, or emotional body. Some will feel an activation on the top of their heads, some closer towards the third eye area, some through the nervous system, others sensation through the skin or the very hair follicles, some the palms of the hand, the soles of the feet, some in colors and geometries, and some in a sacred divine space and peace and perfect balance. So we continue to breathe this sacred breath in the higher knowledge of what this breath is. And as we do in each and every breath, brings us into the higher alignment of our higher selves, brings us to our higher vision, brings us to our higher abilities, and the re-remembering of our cosmic lineage. And so it is our intention that we become perfectly balanced. And in this moment, embrace this peace that comes to us. All worldly matters, all concerns of a physical, mental, and emotional world simply drift away. Just in this moment, we give ourselves permission to not worry, to not be concerned, to not plan, to simply be in this sacred moment, in this sacred now. For this is the divine practice that prepares us as we walk our path of light into the higher transcendency of those dynamics that we can integrate, hold, and bring into the physical, mental, and emotional worlds. And so we embrace this loving peace. We embrace this perfect balance. We embrace this divine grace that flows in now abundantly, wrapping us, caressing us, nurturing us, balancing us, and healing us. So we breathe with intention the sacred breath, realizing that each and every breath we take and exhale is rarefied, activated, more integrated with the higher macro breath of the divine. And so we breathe freely and clearly. It seems that the breath has a special element to it, a higher frequency. And so eagerly, enthusiastically, and gratefully, we breathe this breath into our physical, mental, and emotional bodies. With each and every breath connecting us stronger to the higher parts of ourselves, bringing us into complete alignment with our higher self, our overself, bringing us into a glorious alignment with our higher bodies of light, moving through our chakra system from the physical body into the invisible body, into the subtle bodies, into the bodies of light. We become aware that we are not alone, but we are surrounded by the most benevolent, loving, radiant beings of light. Our family of light, the Ami Shaddai, all in alignment with the divine plan. All light workers under different gradations of the expressions of this creation and beyond. all elementals in Davic realms, all star cousins, all come together in this divine sacred moment. And we simply breathe, feel, and sense and know their presence. For we have become one collective through the divine breath. As we are reignited into our source and who we are, even as we move through a physical world that can be challenging, disillusioned, and disillusionment. This is here to say, remember who you are and where you come from, and that the breath you breathe is the breath we breathe. It is the breath of the divine and forever connects you with that. A re-remembering, a reconnection, a realignment, a reintegration in this divine truth. And so we continue to breathe, realizing the power of each in-breath and out-breath, the power of what it's able to do in its rethreading and reconnection and realignment with the higher parts of ourselves, becoming more anchored, more integrated. We are tethered to it. It becomes unshakable, unbreakable. And so we breathe this divine grace that comes to us now. And see very clearly in your spiritual eye, it is towards your left. You now see a door. It is an open door. And as you look through the open door, the color that's inside of it is ultraviolet. An ultraviolet that is so bright that it pours out of the door. And this door appears, we know, it is an invitation to step into it. And so we make this moment to breathe the sacred in-breath and out-breath with the intention that we are capable and we are able to walk through this doorway and into this ultraviolet light that emanates from it. And so we begin to proceed. And as we do, we notice that we are emanating white light. For we are in our higher bodies of light and raised to a frequency that we can move into this ultraviolet light. And as we enter it, everything we see is hued with this ultraviolet light. And we all come together and we see that there is the angelic realm from the highest sources that hold this sacred space in this higher temple of illumined light. It is ultraviolet as how we can describe it, but the truth and fact is, it is beyond what we can imagine. For it is a cosmic ultraviolet light, higher than the ones that we can perceive, even with the most acute instruments that science may have. We find ourselves completely immersed in this light. And we breathe the sacred in-breath and out-breath. And we acknowledge all those angelic beings that uphold this space for us to be in this temple of extraordinary highlight. That we are divinely balanced and anchored in the Aussie Shalom, the higher peace. And so we can be in this sacred space and to receive the gifts that now pours into every pore of our physical, mental, emotional bodies, from the light bodies straight to the earth plane where we reside in this three-dimensional world, integrating the higher part of ourself with the lower, bringing in this ultraviolet cosmic light, this nourishing light, this illumined light, this transformative light, this transcendent light, breathing it in right now into the physical expression of ourselves upon this world. Even as it passes through each gradation, each level of which we participate in other dimensions, in other realms, and in other experiences, in other timelines. As we are in this high temple of light, it moves through all aspects of our being and consciousness. It is the light of great transformation, the higher transcendent light of the violet light, capable of transformation and transmutation. A gift that is now flowing in from the upper worlds of celestial creations, held by angels in the Davic realm, supported from the Ami Shaddai, the family of light, a place of respite, of support, of balance, and of peace. And so we breathe in this cosmic violet light in this temple of light, anchored in great peace and balance. We simply receive with grateful hearts the acknowledgement of the Ami Shaddai, our family of light, from the highest realms, supportive, loving, caring, embracing of us as we continue to walk our path, as we continue to make known the unknown to us, as we continue to pierce through the illusions and the delusions, as we continue to move into our freedom and sovereignty, as we continue to remember the source, our lineage, our history, from cosmic levels and higher eons, now ready for the return back, now ready for the remembering, now ready to serve in the highest capacity for the world we find ourselves in, the multiple worlds connected to our worlds, moving into our cosmic beingness, larger than our own solar system, as big as our own Milky Way galaxy and beyond, moving into higher levels of constellations and stars, embracing supernovas, the birth and death of stars. We come now into our ancient origins, We come into the Ancient of Days. And we breathe. And as you breathe this cosmic ultraviolet that holds transmutation and transformation, so too does this ability begin to develop and enhance within yourself. Held and gifted by the angelic realms, as the Ami Shaddai held the platform of those most radiant ones from all streams of consciousness, united in the singularity and higher service to the divine. And as we hold these gifts and are gifted, we pledge to walk the path of light, that narrow path, the path less traveled on, in higher service of the divine, cosmic Christ consciousness and divine Maitreya, Yod-He Vod-He, Yod-He Shin Vod-He Shekinah, to the highest divine trinity of our creation and beyond. So we take these few more moments here now to immerse ourselves with this divine grace and gift, to breathe this sacred cosmic ultraviolet breath as it travels through the aeons into our own physical, mental, and emotional bodies. That this connection is strong and unshakable. Make note of the divine presence that is with us, how you feel, what you sense. Acknowledge it, for it will come to you time to time in those times of need, support, and guidance. And as we are in this state of profound grace, as we would stay like this forever, we know, we sense the time to return. And so we know it is time for us to step back and out of this doorway that holds the cosmic rays of transformation and transmutation. We look again at the cosmic ultraviolet, understanding that the very cells in our body resonating to this frequency in its octave of connection. We understand the blessing that has been bestowed upon us, the grace that has been bestowed, and with grateful hearts, we acknowledge the angelic ones who have held this temple in place for us along with our Ami Shaddai from all streams of consciousness. Our love for them as their love for us. We now depart from this sacred temple. And we now prepare ourselves to return fully, simply by the intention and the thought, even as all those who have been a part of this begin to draw in their electromagnetic field, and we draw in others, our own electromagnetic field. And slowly the energy begins to step down. And we now prepare ourselves for the return fully into our physical, mental, and emotional bodies. On the count of 3, we are ready and we are aligned to do so with ease and grace. 1, 2, take a very deep breath in. And 3, we are back. We are awake. We are alert. And we are grounded to the earth.